Colin not with you?
No.
Did you not knock for him?
I did knock for him.
Are you coming out to the pub, Colin?
Maybe he just doesn't like you no more.
Sit somewhere else.
But I have my pint there, Colin.
Are you rowing?
I didn't think we were rowing.
Well, you are rowing.
It does look like we're rowing.
On the Red Carpet presents an in-depth look at the making of the Banshees of Inisherin.
The Banshees of Inisherin. It's a story of an island and the people on that island, and two friends who are no longer friends, and how those consequences reach out into the community.
If I've done something to you, just tell me what I've done to you.
But you didn't do anything to me.
I just don't like you no more.
There's no particular reason given initially for this breakup, and it becomes a tale of destruction.
What trouble are you in with him?
He just doesn't want to be friends with me no more.
What is he, 12?
I wanted to write something about two friends and a fallout for a while. It kind of all fell into place pretty quickly once I started. I wrote the script of this about 3 years ago. It's probably my quickest between finishing a script and getting it made.
It's a very smart way of playing with those feelings that everyone has in terms of the heartbreak of being rejected, basically.
All the characters in the film have their own struggles, and they all have their own sadness, and they all have their own secrets.
Background action. Action.
I wanted to get Colin and Brendan back together ever since In Bruges, really. It was definitely written for them.
There's that idea of coming with the heart on your sleeve. You know, we both let our guard down quite a lot, and I think myself and Colin trust each other fundamentally in that regard.
I think people really love them as a pairing, as I do, and I kind of wanted to explore getting them back together in a very different story.
Pádraig, he lives with his sister. He's a happy lad, as long as the animals are fed, and his friend Colin is there to join him for a few pints and a bit of a chat every day at 2 o'clock. As long as that's all happening, then life is just grand.
Pádraig, at the start of the film, basically just a sweet, mild-mannered, happy-go-lucky guy.
Colin was perfect for the role of Pádraig because he still seems kind of boyish in the way he acts and the way his facial expressions are, and his eyes are very expressive.
What the hell are you heading off to?
And I think Pádraig needed a boyish quality to him for the comedy to work.
Everyone to a man knows Mozart's name.
Well, I don't, so there goes that theory.
He's brought a whole new thing to Pádraig. You know, the drop of the shoulders and letting his body kind of tell it all. And he's brilliant. Well, touché.
Too hot.
For Colin in every way possible. I love him as a human being, and I just think his instincts and his integrity are brilliant. Just count him as a very dear friend.
You do like me.
I don't.
You liked me yesterday.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
I thought you did.
Colin is a guy who's been on the island pretty much all his life. He's an interested character. He's curious. His house is filled with all sorts of bizarre puppets from various parts of the world and lots of musical instruments.
Brendan has a way to him even when he just walks into a room, and I feel like that was Colm. There's a feeling that Colm on the island is like sort of revered, and I think that's the case with Brendan in general, the feeling of like you have respect for him.
All the ladies love Colin, you know? Always did.
Yeah, that's not true. I don't have much objectivity in relation to working with Brendan. I love the man, and I have just a height of admiration and respect for him, a very real affection. The pendulum swings wide with Brendan, from the tenderness that he's capable of to the godlike wrath as well that he can exude if needs be. It's all there.
Why can't you just leave me alone?
Colin and Brendan, they're also great comedians. They don't play it as funny. They just play the truth of it, and we find it funny.
What are you doing? That's all.
That allows you to nail, I think, the comedy, but also get to the sadness of the piece.
Stand.
And they definitely didn't want to shy away from any of those sadder or trickier points.
I did think the two of ye always made a funny pairing, like.
No, we didn't.
One of the characters, you know, he says the two of you always made kind of a strange pairing, an odd couple kind of thing, and Pádraig is aghast at that.
Colin was always more of a thinker. Huh? You're more one of life's good guys. I used to think that'd be a nice thing to be. One of life's good guys.
interesting to see who an audience identifies with. Can they understand the tough line that Colm, the breaker-upper, has taken, or do they identify with a nice person who's broken-hearted?
In 50 years' time, no one will remember any of us.
You used to be nice. Or did you never used to be? Maybe you never used to be.
But we're going from the top, yeah?
More keep the horror, a simple version of the horror.
Okay, okay.
Siobhan, played by Kerry Condon, is Porrick's younger sister.
There's a sadness to her, and there's like a loneliness to her, and she's stuck.
You can't just all of a sudden stop being friends with a fella.
Why can't I?
Why can't you? Because it isn't nice.
Do you want a sherry, Siobhan?
No!
Rightio.
My God, like, did she bring anger and frustration and clarity and kindness and so many different things to the role.
This was very much written with her in mind, and I know there wasn't anyone else who could have played it with a degree of integrity and intelligence and humour and sadness, I suppose, that she brought to it.
She's so fiery, and she just carries this kind of pain that she doesn't show, that's some part of her soul that's not being taken care of.
And how is it, Siobhan, that you was never married? Was you never wild?
Wild? Was I never wild? I don't know what you're talking about, Dominic. Wild how? Angry? Because I'm getting angry now, I can tell you.
Dominic, played by Barry Keoghan, he's sort of happy-go-lucky like Porrick.
A bit like the Shakespearean fool or the court jester. He's quite a tragic character in some ways.
He has a pretty bad life with him and his father. He hasn't got his mother around, but he doesn't show what's going on, basically. There's just so many layers, like a lot of tragedy, and it is funny, and it's not specifically one thing, and that's what he's great at. You probably wouldn't ever want to, I don't know, fall in love with a boy like me, would you?
No, Dominic, I don't think so, love.
Oh, yeah, no. I was thinking no. There goes that dream. He's always injecting some sort of energy and a different angle to Colin's character. We're good at chatting, aren't we? Me and you?
There's an integrity to him and a darkness, but something that's very cinematic about Barry that I wanted to explore. And Barry plays it comedically and beautifully and heartbreakingly.
That sounds like the meanest thing I've ever heard.
Huh? Well, it was a bit mean.
I used to think you were the nicest of them. Turns out you're just the same this time.
It's just brilliant actors everywhere, just an incredible ensemble of actors doing amazing work everywhere. Just trying to keep up with everyone, really, to be honest with you. I mean, just amazing stuff going on left, right and centre.
We're rolling. There's a lovely little donkey in this story called Jenny.
He has a little miniature donkey. She's very important to him. She's his friend.
Him and his little donkey.
What about me little donkey?
And we got a beautiful miniature donkey to play Jenny, who was called Jenny in real life.
No, Jenny! Out!
She just wants a bit of company, Siobhan.
Animals is for outside, I've told you.
It is a proper pet, that donkey.
Yes, good girl. Well done.
Like every scene, every time she pops up in a film, I don't really listen to the actors anymore. It was like that on set too.
I am not putting me donkey outside when I'm sad. Martin wrote this script. The calf is doing that, and then the dog comes up and gives the horse a lick, and then the donkey comes over and gives the dog a nuzzle. And you're just going, I don't know what were you smoking when you wrote that, because it's impossible. And then lo and behold, the animals just did the most beautiful things.
The best donkey for the job.
It's been amazing, really. Jenny was the top of the scene stealer.
What made me want to do it was that the project came to me from Martin McDonagh straight. That's the entire truth.
Not the first person to say this. He's an extraordinary writer, director. It's really quite common knowledge.
I had him on a list of directors to work with. He was like, do you want to do it? I was like, yeah.
He's recognised as one of the most extraordinary voices in theatre and in cinema now.
Writing the script, for me, it's all about the character and the dialogue and the situations. The storyboarding process is a major second phase of the storytelling. The cinema of it, I get when I storyboard it.
Martin turned up with a pile of papers like that, his hand-drawn storyboards. Every single shot in that film is storyboarded. The storyboards were the same as his writing, but as a director, really clear idea of what he wanted.
The benefit of having him as writer-director is he's very sure of everything, and he's extremely specific with the notes.
There is room to explore and to find things out within the process. This whole process in the middle is what's important. So to have that, a director who understands that is huge.
I always want to explore the truth without hiding any of its ugliness, without shielding us from how dark these characters might be or how dark they might get.
Some of the characters can be incredibly malicious and incredibly cruel, but I never detect any maliciousness from the creator of it.
And why aren't you talking to Pádraig Sullivan no more?
That wouldn't be a sin now, would it, Father?
It wouldn't be a sin, no. But it's not very nice either, is it?
You'll have an instinct and he'll want you to explore that, and then he'll have an instinct to ask you to explore that.
There's a rhythm to it.
I knocked on Colm's sonny Larry, who's just sitting there.
Sitting there doing what?
Sitting there doing nothing. Smoking.
Was he asleep?
He was smoking, Siobhan. How do you smoke in your sleep, like?
Have you been rowing?
We haven't been rowing. I don't think we've been rowing.
Have we been rowing?
I've worked with him for so many years. I would just do it out of wanting to be a part of something that's brilliant, because they're always brilliant.
The common DNA between them all, of course, is Martin's, as I say, incredible articulation of thoughts and ideas and emotions, and that meeting point between comedy and tragedy. He's incredibly deft at that.
Martin, in all his films, is walking a tonal tightrope, and he's one of the very few filmmakers that I know who will do it with absolute confidence and success. That he knows the tightrope, he enjoys it, and it is a delicious, crackling experience.
The sensibility that made this writing happen, that created this writing, can follow it through in the direction.
I don't know how to describe it, but it's always when you step away that you realise that you're working with one of the greats.
Yeah, he's kind of, he's a master. He's just brilliant, really.
Please don't talk to me no more, Pádraig. I'm begging you.
I just didn't want to set a story like this in the modern day. There's almost some certain allegorical aspects to the division between these two men and the division between both sides in the Irish Civil War. The Irish Civil War is raging over on the mainland, so it's a story where a tiny little war is waging between two fellas at the same time as a bigger one is happening over there.
Hadn't in the paper.
It's a civil war still.
They're not really that bothered about the Civil War, and it's like they're a separate little country and separate little everything all unto themselves.
There's something a little insular about living on an island, and you see the same people and would usually go about life in the same way day after day. And that's kind of what was interesting about the start of this story, is that what happens when there's a rupture to that pleasant, placid, everyday life. I really wanted it not to be in a specific place, so hence a made-up island. So I wanted it to be something a little more mythical. So we explored each of the Aran Islands, and actually Inishmore, the largest of the three, ticked most of the boxes. So we shot there for 3 weeks.
So we decided on Inishmore quite early on. In the script, the laneways feature very prominently, and the small fields and the stone walls. And when you go looking for it, it's actually pretty unique to the Aran Islands, and we found some really good spots in Inishmore.
As a kid, because my parents sort of live in Galway along the coast, and you can actually see the Aran Islands from where they are. And Inishmore has, for Irish people especially, a lot of mythical and literary associations. So I always was intrigued about setting something there.
So in Inishmore, we built Pádraig's house, and then all the different walks and all the different walled roads were all there.
But we also needed a beach in some places a bit more mountainous for certain scenes, so we found those on Achill Island in County Mayo.
If you can see the house behind us, we're on Ken Beach. So that's the location for Colm's house, Brendan Gleeson's character.
Achill is really quite majestic and beautiful, and that's sort of what we wanted to capture in the film, was the beauty of Ireland and the cinema of it.
The places that we have been lucky enough to inhabit for this short time we've spent together have really held the story together, and have held our dreams and our disappointments and our fears and our need to allow the story breadth and vastness for this ultimately really intimate kind of passion play.
I wanted to transition from landscapes to close-ups seamlessly, so I wanted the close-ups to be shaped. So I did a lot of work lighting them so that the faces had contours, and also I wanted to see all of the creases and the grime and the stuff. I wanted to really feel landscape in the close-up.
Ben's brilliant. This is our third film together. He's a brilliant collaborator. He loves cinema. He loves the beautiful image. And hand in hand, we're always trying to find that.
We went through how we wanted to shoot the film. He wanted the island to be beautiful. He said, I don't want to see dull, depressing island. I want to see its beauty. So that was the main guide for me and how we photographed it.
We just wanted to make the most beautiful Irish film we could possibly make, to show the majesty of the landscapes, the beauty of sunsets and rainstorms and all those things.
At one point, we did discuss shooting on film. And we shot film at the beginning. We shot quite a few wide shots, which are in the film, but we also used as a reference of where we wanted to get to. In post, we went from digital neg to film neg and back to digital again, to give a bit of film in there somewhere. My favourite shot of the film is the one where Siobhan is storming to Colm's house, and there's that shot through that, which was this angle at the beat, and it's just this big wide shot, this tiny little woman storming across the beach in her red coat. That was my favourite.
We found a beautiful coast road to build the pub.
There's a beautiful road in Achill, Atlantic Road. It's right on the coast, between the cliffs at Ashleam and back to a place called Clockmore. There's no modernity there, no houses, no telegraph poles. So we drove that road several times, looking at the best vantage points and where you got the best views.
We sort of stood out there and wondered whether we were brave enough to build a pub here, because it's literally on the sea and it's massively open to the elements. And then we decided to go for it. So we built our pub from scratch. We sat on the bench, looked at the view and thought, yeah, that's the view we'd like from our front door. So we orientated our pub door to look down the coastline along the wild Atlantic Way.
The basic approach to the film was very analogue. The film was set in 1923. Obviously, back then, there was no electricity. It all had to be either oil or candle. We preferred a bit more candlelight for Porrick's house because they're kind of a poorer community, and then oil lamps at the pub. We had lots of discussions, Mark Tildesley and I, about the design, and we talked in great detail about this dark walls with this sort of sheen to them so that the characters lifted out in all this sort of oil, warm pockets of light.
So what happens in the story is these two characters fall out, and so the idea was to have one long bar, a sort of two ends of the pub. One goes to one part of the pub, the other goes to the other, and it's a sort of standoff.
The subtlety of the design in terms of pushing the bar, as I say, into a more Western kind of a thing, but actually feeling like a West of Ireland pub. It's a Western bar in every sense of the word. So the design has been amazing, really. Really intuitive.
Maybe the period, 1923, just threw up all these ideas of the Western. Just shooting through doorways and that kind of John Fordian trope, I guess, was something that we were looking for. This idea of these two almost lone gunmen, in a way, falling out and getting into tiffs at the local saloon.
Is he serious, lads?
He is serious. You can see it in his eyes he's serious.
Just because he thinks you're dull. That's going overboard. Who told you about the dull?
Well, I overheard it. And jeez, if I was to cut something off myself for every dull person that came in here, I'd only have my head left.
I've never made a period thing before, and I kind of was interested in that. Particularly, Hima's costumes were amazing, and it changes something. It really immediately lifts something from script. You can actually, physically see a character when they walk on set. They don't even have to start acting.
Traditionally, when we think about a period like the 1920s, we often kind of see it in black and white because we're looking at black and white photographs. Ireland at the time, the women's traditional dress, they wore red petticoats, and there was a much richer colour palette there. So we're using a lot of red, we're using yellow, we're using greens, we're using deep blues.
It was beautiful because we had to pick costumes that we imagined that Siobhan could have made herself that showed that she was kind of thinking a little bit further than the people in the village. And then some of the costumes we thought might have been passed down from her mother.
Emer just came with ideas and designs and patterns and materials, and she was a big part in me creating Porrig or finding Porrig. I mean, it's just really stepping back in time in a beautiful but eerie way.
Colm's hat, it's a touch of an old style Western in that, and yet it looks like a Sean Keating painting with the large brim. So you're crossing into worlds and creating your own kind of world.
Martin McDonagh and I have done 3 or 4 films before. I think we do have similar sensibilities. He never has to tell me why something's supposed to be funny or sad, so he can trust that I'm seeing the same film the same way that he is. That helps, right, everyone? Typically, I don't actually start writing music for the film until there is some sort of an edit of the film so that I can see what it looks like. Martin had already, for one section of the film, he had this piece he'd put in that's performed by a gamelan, this Balinese ensemble, mostly metallic instruments. And I happen to be a big fan of Balinese gamelan music, but it's also obviously a bit strange to have that in your, the movie taking place in Inisherin. So I started playing with metallic instruments, in particular celeste, which is a keyboard that plays bell sounds, and just started going off in that direction of making it more like a fairy tale.
That's my favorite bit.
The music seems simple at first, but it's actually not quite so simple, and the story, you know, or Peric's life seems simple at first, and then, you know, gets much less so.
I like films that you can watch repeatedly. I feel it should be like going back to a novel. Whatever ending you're offered up, I think, should be perfect in its own sense, even if it leaves you with a lot of questions. I think those questions are as interesting as being spoon-fed an ending.
Does this make things clearer to you?
Not really, no. Pain begets pain, anger begets anger, violence begets violence. If you don't have a space within which you can figure out how you're feeling about the terrible things that life will ultimately impose upon you, well, then that's no good for you, but it's also no good for the rest of the world.
I always love going to a movie and coming back and having a proper Barney afterwards about the significance of it and at what point did you lose and gain sympathy. And again, coming back to Martin's writing, it's the ability to be able to mix and match all that stuff. You don't get a hero and a villain. We're all heroes and villains.
I think there are twists and turns in the story that I hope an audience won't see coming, and I usually like that kind of thing too.
But there are no banshees on Inisherin.
I know, I just like the double SH sounds. Let's just call it quits.
We won't call it quits. We'll call it the start.